Folks, welcome back to another episode of Mayhem in the Midsouth. Our episode today, The Monster of Fort Smith. Folks, the area of the country we're going to be talking about, it's going to be the extreme western part of Arkansas. Fort Smith, it sits right there, rock throw away from the Oklahoma state line. In fact, it bumps up to it. Now, there's two counties involved in these murders, Crawford and Sebastian County. Now, Fort Smith sits in the county of Sebastian, and Crawford's that county. It sits right on top of Sebastian. Now, the fella we're going to be talking about, so typical for these types of crimes, the fella that did them, nobody paid any attention to him. He just blended right in like an old chameleon. He was well known in the community. In fact, he was considered helpful and well liked and just a really good fella. Now, supposedly his parents owned a mortuary, I believe is the story. Now, some of the actions he did during these crimes makes you wonder if that mortuary and dead bodies when he was young had some bearing on what he's going to do, other than the fact he's just crazy as a loon. He's a bad person, bad man. Now, he's going to run loose for about 7 years. Now, we've got 4 known victims of this fella. Now, the crime scene pictures I saw, they're pretty nasty. It's April the 10th, 1993. It's in Fort Smith, over there around where the railroad track, where they cross over Jenny Lynn Road. Now, it's dark out on the streets, and he's picked out the house. He seems to like to find him a house where the victim's generally elderly and there's shrubbery or bushes or something to help conceal his doings there at the front door. Now, the victim had a storm door, and he cut the screen, opened that door up, and then he kicked in the wooden door, and then he does a blitz attack. He just gets in there and starts beating and or stabbing the victim. Now, in this particular case, he beat the victim. Now, this victim was 89 years old, Lily Jones, and she was legally blind. Now, the police theorize the reason she survived the attack is because she went unconscious pretty quick after he started beating her, and they're thinking that's what saved her life. So he beat her and he raped her. Now, when she finally comes to, fella's gone, and she's able to call and get help. So now you got the police looking for this attacker, and you got the community a little nervous about somebody that would do such a thing in a small town like Fort Smith. Now, 2 months later, just a couple blocks away, we're going to have another attack. Now, the suspect, same MO. House sets off the road. There's shrubbery where he can get up to the front door. He cuts the screen, kicks in that wooden door. Gets in there and immediately just starts beating the victim, stabbing the victim in this case. And again, the crime scene pictures are horrendous for this scene. Now, the suspect drags the victim to the bed, rapes her. She dies, he rapes her again. Now, she laid there for a day or so. Some members of her church noticed she didn't come to church that morning, that Sunday morning. So they went over to her house and they looked in through the door and saw that horrible mess inside. So now the police know they got a problem, because now they've had 2 attacks on women just blocks away from each other. MO's the same. Now, there's a fella that lives over in that area that acts kind of strange. So the police, they kind of zone in on him. People in the community, obviously, that live over there, they're telling the police, look, this guy's strange. And, of course, what's usually the case, the person that's acting strange, that ain't the one you need to be looking for. But you act odd, and the people are going to notice. So the police, they finally bring him into the station and talk to him, and he confesses. Now, I don't know during his confession how much he knew about the crime scenes. According to the police, now he knew enough that they were convinced it was him, and obviously I don't know. I didn't get to read the confessions. I don't know how they asked the questions and how he answered them. So now they got him locked up. Everybody's happy. They got this rapist and this murderer off the street. Well, they send off his DNA, and they're waiting for the results. Well, now it's August 10th, 1995. 74-year-old lady, Ruth Henderson, same thing. She lives kind of out in the country a little bit there. Same MO, though. Suspect cuts the screen, kicks in the inner wooden door, beats and stabs a lady to death. One of the investigators is out there on that scene. As soon as he sees it, he knows we got a problem. Because he knows this is that MO. It's exactly like the case of Miss Warford. Because he worked that one too. So now the police are thinking, well, we got the fella that did it locked up. But this is a mirror image of that. So now they're getting a little worried here that maybe they got the wrong fella. Well, the DNA comes back, and it shows that the fella they got locked up ain't the suspect. He ain't their man, which is what DNA is designed to do. Is to exonerate the innocent. So they cut that fella loose. Now they're back at square one. Now they got 2 killings and 1 rape. Now 5 years is going to go by. March of 2000, husband and wife, they arrive home and they notice that their neighbor's truck's parked in their driveway. They're thinking, that's kind of odd. What's he doing over here at the house? So they go inside the house, and the suspect's in there. He's done stabbed their 16-year-old daughter, and he's raping her. Now, there's several accounts as to what happened next, but the one that rings the most truth to me is the one where the daddy, he got to beating that suspect near death. And then the mama's able to get the daughter, and they're able to call the police. Now, according to the captain over the violent crimes unit, he said that the only thing that saved that suspect's life was that the deputies showed up before the daddy could go on and kill the suspect. Now, the other accounts I've read about the suspect being captured just say that he was detained by the daddy. Any event, now they got a similar MO. They got him a fella in custody. They're going to be able to hold him for a while now because they got him for a especially aggravated rape, attempted murder, burglary. And so now they're going to send off his DNA. Well, results come back, and the suspect, his DNA matches every crime scene. They decide to cut this fella a deal, and if he'll tell the police everything he did on all these crime scenes and anything else he might have done, they won't ask for the death penalty. They'll just give him life, no parole. So he takes the deal. He tells them all he knows. Now, that prosecutor could have went the other way because he's got the DNA, got the suspect caught in the act. He could have went for the death penalty. Of course, we all know you get the death penalty, that just means you're going to die in prison of natural causes. Of course, now Arkansas does have a tendency to execute those sentenced to death a little quicker than most states. But in any event, suspect goes to prison. Now, in 2019, September, in fact, suspect dies of natural causes, maximum security prison there in Arkansas.